It keeps falling over.
That's just because it's full of money, you know.
Sure.
Well, I didn't.
Presents.
Documents.
Christmas presents.
It sounds threatening, like a Clue movie or something. I think we can. Oh, we're almost there.
15 seconds.
All these clocks are wrong. Okay, I was trying to get here early, and I was, but I still feel a little chaotic. One more time.
It's time.
All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call to order this meeting of the Eskridge City Council on December 22nd, 7 p.m. Before we get started, I just would like to take a moment to remind everyone that these meetings are for the purpose of conducting city business. We are all adults, and I don't think it's out of line to expect our council staff and audience to treat each other with respect at all times. It is our elected duty to work together as a government entity, no matter personal thoughts and feelings. When we achieve this, we can actually do the city business, and when we can't, nothing gets done, and we're all unhappy. Discussion and debate are healthy, but yelling, name-calling, accusations, and going repeatedly off topic do nothing to further our actions and support our voters. Moving forward, we cannot tolerate these behaviors anymore. I'm asking you all to help me please change how these meetings run so we can do better for this town. I would just like to say that right away. I hope I don't have to continue saying that every single week. And I really don't want to lecture everybody constantly, but I think we can do a lot better together. So, roll call. Joe.
Here.
Payday.
Here.
Brett.
Here.
Jason.
Here.
And Clay.
Here.
All right. I don't need a vote for the hearing, do I? I just open it.
No, you just open the public hearing.
Okay. Yeah. I now open the 2025 amended budget hearing. Any comments from the public at this time? Seeing no comments, I am going to close the amended budget
I
hearing.
would like to have it. I think you do have to have a motion to close it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll move to close it.
Second.
Okay, motion by Brett to close it. Seconded by Jason. All in favor? Awesome. All in favor? Are there any late additions to the agenda?
Are you voting on that later on the budget amendment?
Lisa just said we need to open and close it. I guess we probably do need to vote. Sorry.
Vote to approve that.
She did say that, didn't she?
I'll vote to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
So,
This is the motion to approve the budget amendment.
Okay, motion by Brett, seconded by Jason. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. That's 5-0. Now, is there any late additions to the agenda?
I did have a couple of, and they're going to be really quick questions. That CCTV bid, and then I had a question for Todd about the memo that we got, but we can do that whenever.
Did we take it off completely? I just meant they didn't need to come and present, but did we remove it from the packet?
And we can hold it to next
Yeah.
time if we want. It doesn't matter to me.
yeah.
You took
I
it out?
mean, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that was a miscommunication.
CCTV.
Yeah, there was a
The
bid
cameras?
for, yeah, for cameras.
Except for I emailed you all the bids, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, do we want to discuss them today?
I just got a question.
Okay,
You want to do that?
let's put it back in.
And you're continuing.
Yeah. Go ahead. Anything else? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to adopt the agenda with that addition.
Okay, moved by Jason, seconded by Joe. Any further discussion? All in favor? I did go ahead and make notes for the October 27th, 2025. That would be easier if I highlighted them and printed them off for everybody. I don't need to drag this out any further, but I do feel like it was not fully represented. Would appreciate when I can step through the whole thing. Did you say somebody had emailed in changes?
I did. Not on this one.
Not this
on
one?
The 24th of November.
Okay, I just want to make sure I don't skip over. That first one's just a correction. The second one, the approval of minutes, I just corrected it because the motion actually died and then I moved again. And then I just adjusted on that hearing of the resolution just because it looked like they had to pay the entire year before we turn on the utility. So I just switched the sentence around, that's all.
Okay.
And then further on, I basically added my own comments back in, as well as a few others I felt like missing on that front public concerns and comments section.
I like this. I really need it.
Right, that's why, just to make it the easiest way possible. Usually it's not this intense. On the second page, Justin Rush was acknowledged by the mayor and stood up as a public comment, and it wasn't included at all, so I did add him back in. And then there's a few others that are smaller, so I just wanted to, I'll let you guys read those.
Which part did you eliminate, Annie?
There should be a cross out in anything I eliminated. I didn't reduce on this one because I just felt like it would be a battle.
I see here, the larger types, it takes up more room.
I get this one. Well, that back page, there's one that says payday rush. That's a comment I've added in as well. The highlight's not very clear.
Where was that at?
It's on the,
I see it.
yeah. I just realized it just didn't show up well.
Are you wanting some comments on it, or how you want to handle this?
So you guys just need to decide. I'd love to get these done and off our plate because this has been long enough, obviously. You
So
decide.
if we added this part here with Justin Rush's paragraph, I would like it to be added that Terry said that he asked him, and when he asked him, he said no.
Okay.
Well, I for one would not be in favor of having anything in these that it's a personnel issue.
You're saying cut it back again?
I would not be in favor of having anything in these minutes if the person having an issue that names and anything like that. Because you just well have an open checkbook ready to pay them if you do.
I didn't mean to take his
Well,
name
Would
back
you agree with that,
out.
Todd?
No, not really. At this point, kind of all baked into the process of this one. I mean, I would agree if we had something new that had come up that was a different employee in a different scenario that I would like to have it contained, but we're well beyond that.
Water under the bridge.
We've kind of reached the point that we're past that, at least as far as this event is concerned. So, I mean, I don't think it's any.
Well, I think leaving stuff out is not being very transparent.
I mean, I think that's the liability answer. The question about what you want them to say is entirely up to you as far as how,
Well, holding us
well-
and holding them accountable for what they say so
Yeah.
that the public can read it versus
yeah.
just what the select here few want to.
Well, I'm not going to couch it in those terms. I'm just going to say what you want the minutes to say is a matter of voting on what the final version is. And I think I support generally the idea that the minutes are not supposed to be transcription. They're supposed to be a marker of, I guess, significant and binding events. That once you start kind of down this road, you kind of open yourself up to not a legal problem, but like you said, where do you stop putting in, what people said and what people stated, or what when it was said or what. So, but at this point, you guys have already kind of said we want to have a more thorough record. So additions are fair game as long as they were said.
Well, I think if they want stuff like this, they should write a letter to the editor and put it out there what their opinion is. I don't think it's something you publish in the minutes, somebody's opinion. That's my issue with it.
Mostly what gets added is direct quotes of people and what people said, not opinion based.
That's their opinion if you quote what they said.
And generally speaking, you don't want to go like this had some quote because a lot of what I said was missing, or things that supported what I said were missing completely. So we could
As
argue
what I
that,
said too, so that's why I added it, and we all have
Back
the
and forth.
opportunity to add that.
which is
if
why
that's
it's
what we
difficult
feel.
to, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This is why it's difficult to write them like this, because it's almost impossible to not include some kind of a bias. They're not technically supposed to have any bias. It's supposed to be a neutral record. And that's the problem with doing this.
My only argument is when somebody reads it, they should be able to understand something of what was going on in the meeting than just votes. And you can go back to Donna Warren, took great notes. You can go back to a lot of old years of us, and you can actually depict somewhat of what was going. Does it say all the conversations? No, it hit and misses it. It touches the highlights, but at least you get something from the meeting. I mean, we're dealing with the case right now that if I didn't have meetings and definite things to go back to, I couldn't validate anything that I was saying because it wasn't official minutes. So being able to go back and find things in official minutes was very helpful to me. It helped me prove my case.
But if both sides aren't being represented equally, then how can you say it's an accurate representation of the conversation?
Well, what I added absolutely was said. I know what you added from reading what you added. Like I can recollect that was said as well. So like we know that was said by the two of us. So we shouldn't have a problem standing by what we said. I mean, we're the elected 5 people and we're the ones discussing everything and everything. I mean, I'm not asking for a book. Like this is what 1, 2, 3 pages and 1 line on the other. If we did a transcript of the meeting, it would have been like 50 pages or more. So like this is really a condensed down highlight thing of the meeting anyway. I know it doesn't go typing up word for word the meeting.
Can you repeat that sentence you wanted added? Terry stated that he asked him, Justin, about.
He asked Justin if there was an approval for that, and Justin told him no.
If he remembered.
Yes.
He didn't say no, he said he didn't remember.
I think it was actually no. Not that I remember.
Because that was not that I remember. That might be more accurate.
Not that I remember.
But that was when
I
they were
only
walking.
say
Yeah.
that because I have watched that meeting
Yeah.
like multiple times. So
you guys have the option here to.
So I move to approve
Never mind.
Annie's adjusted minutes with Brett's addition.
I'll second.
I've got a motion by Jason to approve the.
Sorry, I'm still here.
October 27 minutes with the adjustments that I brought in this evening and the sentence that Brett added. Any further discussion at this time? All in favor? We got 4 in favor, all opposed? Okay, opposed.
Who seconded that, Brett?
Brett did, yes. All right, I think that was the worst one, but I did have edits on this one as well. They're very small.
I had one correction on it too, because it says a patron said this council is very embarrassing, got up and left. It was Connie Martin, so just I
I
wanted her name in there.
actually wanted to strike it out. I don't feel like that's relevant to our business. So
And I'm fine with that too, but I just, if it was gonna be left in there, I wanted to know who it was.
on the front page here, I just corrected. It was an email from the League of Municipalities. I think we just got jumbled up and you said it was an email from the clerk. Because Payday was talking about the clerk and Lisa mentioned the League of Municipalities and they just got switched around. So the email itself was from
It was
Lee.
from,
No, she said several times she
I had it.
emailed them. We can double check it too. Maybe I'm off.
it was
but
from, what's her name?
I thought she just emailed the League of Municipalities and I was listening.
That
to
was
them.
with Lisa.
Yeah, this is Lisa's thing.
What I had in there, she emailed me this. What I put per the county clerk. She emailed me that. I actually copied and pasted it.
Before the meeting.
No, after the meeting to clarify.
Okay.
That's one thing about these.
I mean, we can't add something that happened after, I think.
That's why I put per email of county clerk. Just so it's not our words saying that was her words.
I think then you just say it's per the KSA because that's what it is. I mean, you're quoting the exact. But if this email came after the meeting, then I don't think that's an accurate record. I'm in that.
And I'm fine with that.
We had that information before the meeting.
And we did have this. I'm just saying that email, you're talking about a different email then that's,
So just cross this out.
I think you just say per KSA.
Okay.
If you guys are okay with that. I think I just,
I'll move. Oh wait, sorry.
sorry, I had a couple more.
Per KSA.
On page 2, I just and with your emotion. I think the language is just kind of weird. And so I added a clerk on the second page. This, I just wanted that to be clear that was the writing because of the way it's written. It doesn't sound like he wrote that on there basically. And then I just struck the patron and I adjusted the note on Michelle and struck my own comment.
I was told by our lawyer to write that whenever a council member leaves.
Yeah, you just need to say that she left at 8:28 and returned tonight. Very well, I details.
Well, I was told 50 times.
The time is already written. I did have a question. I feel like there was an executive, and it's not this one. Don't we need the location? Yeah, on the back page. Do we need to have the location on an executive session motion?
Returning to the location.
City council chamber, meeting room.
But that's required, isn't
Yeah,
it, for those?
yeah.
Okay, so just add.
And usually what I should probably
It's
said
just like
was
a whole bunch of
returning at 9:07 in the meeting room.
With those corrections, I'll move to approve.
I'll reiterate my problem with them. I don't think there should be anything in the minutes that relates to discipline of employees.
I don't disagree with you.
Jason, did you second?
Yeah.
Okay, Brett moved to approve and Jason seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I was just gonna say, for the sake of getting through the backlog here, I mean, I think we're going in the right direction. Longer term, I do think we ought to talk about it, as what Payday's alluding to. So that's something that maybe we could put on, January or sometime, but I do think we should talk about it.
Let me reiterate that actually, because I didn't specify. Brett moved to approve the meeting minutes of November 10th and Jason seconded. All in favor? That's 4. Payday. All opposed? Payday opposed.
So I just want to get some clarification on these meeting minutes. So, Peter, what you're saying is when an employee comes in and we talk to them in open session, you don't want anything about what we talked about in open session with the employee in the minutes?
I didn't say that, Brett. And it's a disciplinary action in the past, and I don't think disciplinary action from employees needs to be in the minutes. You talk about personnel executive session, it shouldn't be in there.
I'm still confused at like what you're.
I don't think there's any confusion to it. You got people accusing people of doing stuff right there in the
What's the-
minutes.
I think he's
Let's
That's
go
all
ahead
I'm
and
saying.
approve the
I don't
other
want to argue
minutes,
with it. I'm
but
just stating my
I
opinion.
need
Didn't say that.
Let's
like
move on.
understanding of what that is, because it was
You're
talked
not
about. in
gonna
open
understand,
session.
so let's move on.
Okay. On the meeting minutes for November 24th.
To approve.
Second.
Move to approve the meeting minutes from November 24th by Brett, seconded by Jason. Any further discussion?
There again, I think if Terry wants to write a letter to the editor, put all this stuff in there that he said accusing people of, it should be there, not in the minutes.
His right as the outgoing mayor, he should have a final statement.
It is what it is. I mean, approve or not approve, I think it was stated to.
I've forgotten where we are. Did we get motion and second on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
All in favor? Again, 4. All opposed? Payday opposing. And now the minutes of the December 8th meeting. No changes.
I'll shock you here. I move to approve.
Second.
Roll with that one.
All right.
I'm just excited to get through them now.
I know. It feels like a weight off.
Yeah.
These minutes, I'm sorry. The minutes of the December 8th meeting, motion by Payday and seconded by Jason. All in favor? That's 5. We're caught up again. You guys have any questions regarding appropriation ordinance 1538?
Just one quick thing. Or how was that, what was that kind of agreement?
When we approved him to do the sidewalks, we approved him to do our 1% sidewalks. So, unless you can prove otherwise, the way I recollect it is that we approved him for the 1% sidewalks for the projects for that. And that's what we've been doing ever since. He's done all the years.
He could have been in. We've approved, and it was up to 23,000. Do you remember the number off the top of your head?
Which it ended up being 21 something.
Yeah, it's 21,960.
This was before my time. Did you bid them or did you just say
No, we
issue it to
bid.
him?
We had 3 bids because that was right around the time that Terry first became mayor and he wanted us to be having 3 break bids. And I remember it vividly because I was irritated by it and I brought him 3 bids. And Devander is the one that we decided on.
I don't have a problem with it. I think it sounds like a good idea.
So basically a continuation of a working relationship that we've had with him for several years now. Anything else? Okay. Entertain a motion when you're ready.
move to adopt appropriations ordinance number 1538.
Say,
Payday wins.
Was that payday? All right, moved and seconded by Jason and Payday. It's a roll call vote, so answer verbally. Joe?
Yes.
Payday?
yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Clay?
Yes.
All in favor? At this time, I'm opening the floor to public concerns or comments. I would like to remind everyone that there is a 5-minute limit per person. Council is not required to respond immediately, but they can choose to do so. Is there anyone here tonight?
Yes.
Who's not on the agenda?
As soon as I get up. Hello, good evening. I figured you guys are gonna probably vote on the contract for out there at the lake. Few things that I wanted to say before you do that. But I had to learn two different, computer things for the camping out there, one year and then one the next. And if anybody knows me, I'm not the greatest computer whiz in the world, and finally did figure them all out. The complaints that most people, or that actually all the complaints that I heard were all hearsay complaints. That somebody had heard it from this person or heard it from that person. Nobody actually came in here to complain about my job that I was doing out there. And I did give reports mostly. I didn't always have a written monthly report, but I always did show up and give a report of some kind. And that's pretty much all it is. I really would appreciate to get to do it again this year. So, okay.
Thank you, Julie. Any further public concerns or comments? Moving on, department reports, Sally Davis.
Okay, y'all got the permits for Mitchell's. On the last page, I didn't have one emailed to you. The route that they're bringing the modular in. I think I got you everything else.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay,
Joe
motion
can
by Brett, second by Joe. Any further discussion?
I do have one quick question. The contractor hired to remove the asbestos.
Yes.
Do we know, are they licensed by KDHE?
He got a hold of KDHE and didn't I send that email to you? That they told him all they had to do was they were good to go. And they had to get rid of it, told him how to do it, bag it up, where they had to take it. But this guy does this all the time. He deals with KDHE all the time.
Which guy are we speaking?
The guy that they talked to.
Yeah, the guy they talked to.
Steve
Hare. No, yeah. Steve
Harry
Hare.
or Hare?
Hare is the one that's doing the demolition.
Mhm.
He's the one that's taking the building down. Well, he's actually helping with all of it, is what Steve told me. So yeah, he's already got a contact with them.
Well, the only thing I'll say there is it's my understanding that there's different regulation when you're doing it yourself or you hired somebody.
Okay, KDHE told me on single family homes. All they have to do is call them and tell them that they're doing this.
On the asbestos.
Mhm.
And the siding's all removed.
Yeah, it's already removed. They've already took it all off and did it. They had that done before they put the permits in.
that on residential, they just have to call on residential.
She said
It's
on
act-
residential, they just have to call.
Yeah, but it's actually the owner has to take care of it. We don't deal with that. So, yeah, I will call and verify that if they did or not. We don't have to tell them to do that.
I don't think we have to call them. We have an email saying they did, right? From KDH.
From KDH, yes.
Yeah,
I have a question, just one.
exactly.
Are we issuing a demolition permit and a construction permit or just construction?
Both.
I have a problem with that. I don't think we need a demolition permit.
State
Even
law.
the state said they don't have to have one. You're reading stuff in that's not there, Sally. They said that it's not required. That's a stretch.
I mean, that's in the book.
That's not in our book.
It's in the state book, in the Union Building Code book, and that's, Todd, am I wrong? We're supposed to go by that book?
Well, if you've adopted building codes, and that's a building code you've adopted, then yeah.
So then we do have to have the demo permit.
Yeah, I think the way that that I read it, again, we talked about this with the Josh Cott building. We the city of Eskridge did adopt the uniform building code of whatever year it was,
It's
2017.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it was.
1997.
I don't remember.
Probably.
That's what it
But
said.
yeah, and in that, if you go, there's a couple of spots where it actually does say demo permit is required.
I'm referring to the correspondence that Sally had with the state that said that that's for commercial buildings, so you needed it there, but it wasn't required on residential. So is that a gray area or is that?
It doesn't specify that I read,
Okay.
so it's my belief we do, but that's something we absolutely can double check. And I made a
Well,
note.
no, I don't want to double check it. I just want to make sure that in the future we don't have this mix up.
Yeah. No.
That's my goal.
Yep, no, I get you.
Okay.
So now you're saying, no, we don't,
No, no.
or yes, we do?
No, we
We're going
do.
with what you gave us.
We do.
Okay, you're confusing me now. So, okay,
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
okay. My opinion is,
I
I
just-
think we do, because otherwise we don't have state coming back on us.
Read the whole thing. The state told you something different. That's the reason I'm trying to clarify it.
Well, it is kind of confusing.
Uniform building code,
So, okay, we did approve it,
1997.
right?
Well, yeah, we have to vote still.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Yeah,
Okay,
something
So
else.
we had a motion and a second to approve this structure permit application. All in favor? All unanimous.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Now we're
the resolution that we set up for 310 Mulberry, which is Cynthia Limbach, she got a hold of me. She's gonna put wood around the bottom of the trailer. And then she's planning on cleaning it out, but she doesn't want to she wants to wait until spring because it's too cold. We kind of discussed that. I said, we've been going on and on about this. So I got a suggestion and I talked to her about it, but I need to get, if it's okay if we can do this. She would come down and start putting it out in the trash. But I need to verify with Becky that she's got all her utilities, everything paid up. If we could only charge her for trash service. She doesn't want the utilities on.
And there's nobody living there right now.
Nobody's living there. If we can do that. Otherwise, the only other thing, because I don't know how our contract reads, if the only time we supply trash service to them is if they have utilities, or if we could do just the trash so she can get that house cleaned out.
I know that we've taken the trash off of utilities because we did that for Justin. He came in and asked for that when they were selling their house. He asked to have the trash taken off so we didn't have to pay it until the house was sold. So I don't know, could we do that? And
Well, I mean,
just
I
have
think
the
what you're
trash?
required to have, if the premises is occupied, you're required to have the utilities.
Nobody lives there, it's vacant.
Yeah, it's
It
vacant.
was
She just
clear
uses
it's not
the
gonna
base.
make it.
She
Yeah.
basically uses it for storage.
Unless you've got an ordinance that says you have to have water. I don't know of an ordinance that you have to have it if you're not, nobody's living there.
No,
And sometimes they do have ordinances say you have to have trash service, you have.
I guess my only question would be, is she just gonna use a little dumpster and put a little bit in every week? Is that the,
because it's winter and she can't, you know.
yeah, I'm just asking. I mean,
But my thinking is if we let her do this, maybe we could get a head start or at least get it started instead of waiting until spring. Cause I have a feeling we'll be going through this again in the spring.
personally, I don't have a problem with it, but if I was her, I'd figure out how much is there and would it be cheaper to get in a dumpster than
She can't afford
multiple
it.
months of trash.
She's already told me she can't afford to get a dumpster.
But she can afford a monthly bill.
Yeah.
I
Just-
understand that.
Just a question there. How long has that manufactured house been vacant?
Years.
Years and years.
Years and years.
So I don't think kicking it down the road is a help. It's nothing's gonna happen here.
Right.
I
It's
don't
just
think-
gonna keep progging.
So,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right.
Just keep going on and on
I
and
mean,
on.
literally, this is over a decade, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, if this is some way we can start to see if she'll do it.
There's different ways to start.
I know. I mean, I'm getting a little bit more leeway than I think we have in the past with her.
I just have one suggestion. If the council decides to do it, I would sure think that you would need to monitor if there's any progress being made,
Oh.
or if the
I've already,
bills,
okay.
or if the bills being paid, yada yada.
Well, Becky will keep me informed on that.
Yeah.
I know she will if she's not paying the bill and that. Because I've already talked to Bruce about it too. Dieter's Exodus, because I was looking at other options. And he told me he'd be letting me know if she went over the dumpster too, so that they would have to charge her extra. And I said, well, let me know if
You
she
mean
does.
overflow every week.
Yeah. And I asked him too if he could let me know if the driver didn't pick it up. But I will monitor it to make sure there's trash out there every week. No. So I mean, it's just I didn't know if we could just do that, bill her for a cart.
I think so. I mean, it would kind of fall into the thing we wrote for people with 2 meters for like a garden, and they don't pay for that meter over the winter because they're not using it. And then in the springtime, they start using it and they start paying the regular fee for it because there's a minimum for a water meter. So if she kind of falls under that, that would make sense for leaving that off the bill, especially if she's not had any usage in it forever. Then it's
I
kind
know
of
in the
easy.
past we've made, talking way past, we've made exceptions for just what person just having a hydrant on that particular place and no sewer and stuff like that.
I think that's what you were referencing, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, because that's in our code
Yeah.
now, the garden code.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to kind of follow Sally's lead here because she's been talking with them and I'm okay with whatever she is suggesting.
Start off with this and see if we can just have, and then
I'd say if in short order we don't see progress,
And I agree with that because I also agree with what Clay says.
Yeah.
Is sometimes the leniency goes way too far.
right, I do understand that.
Some progress on a vacant house would be better than no progress.
Well, that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been trying to get her to do something all summer. She mowed. But then now here we are.
You have
But
been working with all the people that you've sent letters to and we haven't had a lot of pushback, so.
And
So,
they've had the dumpster. They've had the dumpster out here.
yeah, I mentioned that to her and she said that she didn't realize that.
And we should have it next
Yeah.
spring if we vote to have it again. So
Right, so, okay.
I don't know if we'll have it quite as long because that got expensive fast, but
that was the longest we ever had it.
Yeah.
And that was, and also it should be dumped quicker for people. It shouldn't sit there full for 5 or 6 days until we get it dumped. But that's a different.
Well,
That's-
that's
yeah.
not always our problem either, because I know there's times that Becky or Lisa would call him, and it would be 3 or 4 days before he'd get here to get
They
it.
were down a truck.
They're scheduled.
Yeah,
Do we need to make a motion on this, or is it just
I guess I'm not trying, do you have a resolution outstanding against her?
yes. Yes, sir, you have her get that
Well, if
place
you want to
cleaned up.
extend it, that's how you gotta do a motion to extend.
So how do you just move to extend
Well,
Sally's motion for
or
310
just-
Mulberry?
Yeah, just to extend the time for compliance to
Give her what?
30 days or 60?
Yeah, let's give her 30 days and see what she does.
I like that idea.
Okay. So then you guys,
30 days after she gets the dumpster.
yeah,
Not that size.
Just trash, right?
Oh, it's small
No
one.
dumpster necessarily.
Trash
That-
service established.
yeah.
It's 30 days from
I'll
once
I'll
she
have
gets
Becky
trash.
get that, so we can get a card up to her.
26.
On the first meeting of February. That's pretty much a month.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
it the
February 9th.
Through February 9th, okay, and then,
That'll give her more than 30 days to get.
okay, and then Becky can just let me know when she gets it set up so I can get the card up there.
That'll work.
did somebody make a motion and I missed it?
I moved.
And I'll say.
Okay, we are moving to extend the resolution on 310 Mulberry to see some progress to the next meeting, first meeting in February, which is not up there. I don't know. I keep looking at it like it's gonna help.
February 9th?
February 9th. Sorry, I was doing too many things at once. So, 2, 9. Okay, second by Jason. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, 4, all opposed. And Clay opposed.
That's it, thank you.
That's it. Thanks, Sally.
Yep.
Okay, new city business. I have Scott Hess. It is he. Yep. there you go.
I'm Scott Hess.
Gonna come up? Appreciate it.
Don gave me a call, said you guys might be in the market for a new city attorney, and as an attorney, the Rossville guy who used to come over to Mission Valley and hit you guys with a knot on my head every now and then, I was of course interested in that. My old pappy, he told me the most boring people in the world talk about themselves. When I see your eyes glaze over, I will sit down and shut up. That's what I'll do. But I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney for 45 years, real estate broker, city attorney for Delia, Emmett, Willard, Paxico, and Maple Hill. I've been an assistant attorney general. I've represented the governor, attorney general, various state officials. Mayor McHugh and I over at Paxico were talking about some of the things I'd done. I told her I'd won the school finance bill, school case. Well, thought the state lost that. Well, Dan Biles, he lost the case. He's sitting on the Supreme Court. I won, and I get to be the city attorney for Paxico. I got the better deal of the whole thing. So, if you guys are in the market for hiring a new lawyer, I'd be glad to talk to you about it. If you have any questions about my background, I'd be glad to do it. Say about it, but
One of the things that brought up the interest in Mr. Hess is the fact that, as Jason pointed out, what they're doing in Maple Hill. And that's what prompted me to contact him after I talked to the sheriff, because they work together over there with that particular thing. And I might have you explain that a little
yeah,
if you would.
the sheriff is when he was marshal at Maple Hill, he was in charge of the city police department. He got various people from the sheriff's department in Waubonsee County, had contacts with all other police departments around the area, and hired people to come in part-time. And sheriff's philosophy of being policing basically is he's a peace officer. And I was talking to a lieutenant from the Overland Park Police Department, and I was represented a lady whose family took her out of the nursing home, and the nursing home wanted her her family to be charged with kidnapping. And the officer wanted to get my view of it because I was a conservator for him. He explained it to him. I said, Marshall over at Maple Hill, he's now the sheriff, he calls himself a peace officer. What you did as a peace officer, and you could just see him light up over the phone, of course. He was a peace officer. That's old school. I like it. And that's what they do. And that's the kind of policing that they do over in Maple Hill. And that may be something that you guys would be interested in over here. Sheriff, he is put together a very good program over there. And they've got an officer who is a deputy sheriff, and he works with the city. And he has a number of officers that he has contacts with, and they do it part-time. They have a municipal court. I do the prosecuting, and we have a municipal judge come in and take care of that stuff. So that's the kind of law enforcement they have in Maple Hill. It's working. The other cities that I have do not have police departments, and it's a whole lot harder to get things taken care of. I think we had nuisance issue come up. It's a lot harder to take care of it, a nuisance issue, when you don't have municipal court.
I was hoping to get Mr. S and the sheriff here at the same time, but I couldn't get that worked out. So
he's out fighting. He's not fighting crime. He's out there being a peace officer.
So anyway, he'll be here next meeting to explain his side of that.
If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
Thank
I
you,
didn't
sir.
know
We
that were in the
appreciate you.
market for a lawyer, so this is news to me.
No, I'm just I was invited, so here I am.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
No, I don't need to tell you guys. I guess I gotta get the treats here earlier.
You haven't dropped this off
The
yet?
cool
I
is
dropped them
hot.
off. Did they ever get to you?
Yes.
Okay,
Actually, there's
okay.
2 bags of popcorn, a bunch of cheese.
Yeah, see, that's just it. When I don't bring it, you're up with
All right, next on the agenda, I have added the employee wages and benefit history. Well, I have different wages. Mike Bone hasn't, well, where are they? This is just the benefits report.
Well, I thought you already had.
I was supposed to bring that in.
You guys have it?
Nope.
Yes.
I think the council has it.
Yes, everybody has them.
Except for me.
Well, because
Yeah, I think so.
you have.
Where's the wages? Did you give everybody else the wages?
Yeah, there you have.
Maybe that's mine. I don't know. Where'd my copy go? I have it somewhere.
Well, I put this together for you because I know you have a sheet,
Just in a different.
separate sheet.
Just in the other.
Oh, okay.
But then I thought you still had.
No, you're good. I should have just put it down. This is something I just wanted to put in everybody's eyes. Some people have had raises this year. Mike Bone has not had a raise since 2023. He's 2 years. I think Jim had a raise last year. Let's see.
Barry Driggs should have been due for at least an evaluation this year.
I think, well, they're all due always
But
in
I think we
September.
were waiting on, because Terry asked for that in April and he never got anything from his supervisor.
We'll play
And I
catch up.
think that Terry has Mike's for this year done.
Their standard time is September, so.
Right, and I think that he had it done at that time. He's just been having it, waiting for it to be asked, but I do know that Terry did one for Mike this year, so.
This is something too. I did add an executive on so we could discuss it if we want to later or. Up to you guys. I just want to bring it to your attention because it has not been a level increase.
And what was the total, Becky, that we're gonna be paying for insurance per employee or per,
That's in your packet.
It's
What do you mean?
under payroll benefits.
Benefits is in your
what's the
packet.
number
Total is 58,900.
for 2 employees?
No, that's
No.
for everybody.
So the two employees with the family plan, what is that total?
Well, each is $21,089.97. And well, the other one's $21,383.
Because I thought we had got an increase thing from you guys and it was 24,000. Is what it was gonna go up.
No, it was only like $17.
Well, was that at least it just? We'll have to get back to. I'll have to
I
get
mean,
that
it's been probably a good
because it was
2
like
months.
24,000 something per employee.
Not an increase.
No, that's what it was going to cost per employee.
What we've
That's what I
got
was
here is
saying.
year to date, the 21,000.
So if you sign a new agreement, it's gonna take effect sometime.
January, start 1st of January.
Okay, so that might be next year's. Yeah.
It didn't go up too terribly much.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't know
This
what it
year.
would be over the span of a year, but
But it did significantly for several years in a row. That's why we're setting at over $20,000 for insurance on top of a salary and on top of everything else, which is ridiculously high. Especially when we're trying to save money.
It's pretty standard.
It's
It's very
insurance is
standard.
just high. It's just the way it is.
Sure, save my was. You're right.
We had talked about looking into not covering the family plan anymore and just the employee, because we do pay 100% of employees' insurance, and offering them to get the family plan themselves through us, which obviously would save us close to $50,000 if we did that.
No, because it only saved about
Close to-
$8,000.
And how much would it cost
Sorry,
to
pardon me,
employ?
close to $20,000 if we were to.
And how much would it cost to employ?
I don't know, that's something they'd have to look into.
No, I'm not talking about that. On this sheet, where you gonna deduct it from? So you have to take it off of one of these figures.
Well, it would be the family plan that would be deducted, and we'd just be paying their single plan like we do for Barry Greggs, which is about $8,000, $7,000, $12,000.
So who has single and who has family plan right now?
Barry's got single. And then Mike and Jim both have family.
Why is this different then?
Because it's going year to date. So like Becky and Barry would be the same as far as insurance goes. It's
Oh,
just that we've
hold on.
only paid out $3,000 for Becky at this point, and
Oh,
12.
sorry.
Now, we're just talking about insurance, right?
Yeah.
Because actually, it's not 21, it's 15. Because 21 includes capers, which isn't optional.
Wow.
So it's
This
15.6
So
for
I would think
insurance.
that we should probably get
And
like the
7,500.
actual exact numbers and come back and talk about it again.
you
So-
guys look at this print off.
It's on here.
They're on here.
15.615, 15.614,
So does your
1964 for Becky, and 75.23 for Barry.
in your communications or negotiations or whatever you want to call it with your insurance company, do they have a eligibility pool requirement?
I do not know. I was not mayor when we were having those negotiations, so I'm not sure what the answer is.
I don't know for this small of a group if they would or not, but most places have an eligibility pool requirement.
Well, and that was something that we had talked about, if we could get together with other municipalities
Mm-hmm.
and join all of our maintenance workers or all of our employees together under a single pool.
Mhm.
And that would expand our eligibility pool potentially and lower costs all the way around for everybody. But we never heard any more information on that.
I put out an email to the group clerks,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think I belong to that email, or maybe there was a due we were supposed to pay. So I just need
Needs to
to,
be a group email that they choose to respond to or not.
it's There's something more technical about it.
Oh,
But anyways, I'll look into it again and see. And then also I'm gonna call that municipalities because they might be able to give us information.
Mhm.
So I'll call around. Like a co-op insurance, is that what you need to pay?
Yeah, something like that.
It's an association plan. That's what it's usually called.
Okay.
It's separate from.
If I remember right, when Terry went to the mayor's conference, they told them, all of them pretty much do the same thing we do. Because trying to find qualified people in a small community is not easy, because if you cut their insurance, they can make more money driving to town.
I know Alma does, but the big hiccup with Alma is they recognize the importance of people living in town and they require their employees to live in their city.
I know we have a requirement that they have to be within so much such a
7
distance.
miles.
7 miles.
is what
Yeah.
it is.
we still have a
Which
restriction.
is why we disqualified one of the applicants the last one before we hired Barry. Because there was a guy that was living in Paxca that had applied, and it was just too far away.
There was a genuine concern that they couldn't do gas line response, especially south.
Well, it would be a significant benefit to have our employing them and other ones that's similar to what they do.
I mean, they're within a mile?
I can tell you the
No.
history on
Less
that.
more than
miles
that,
in.
and we've actually had
5.
people that have lived over the 7.
Ah,
I can tell you the history
I
on
don't know
that.
who.
That was passed years ago. There was a gentleman here in town that was subject to a protest that carried a petition around, had people sign it. The public, the city of Eskridge people, just like they do for voting on us, voted on that, and they allowed that 7 mile. That was voted on by the people.
So we could do that again and see if the town still feels the same way, since it's significantly different who is here now than was then.
So you're looking for 3 employees, is that what you're saying?
I'm not looking for anything.
I'm just saying. I don't say if it's not broke, don't fix it, in my opinion.
To get us back on topic, I brought this up because I wanted us to review wages and discuss.
Yeah, no,
Raises.
I understand that,
Mhm.
but the wages, I mean, what we're talking about is affecting the employees if we follow Brett's lead and cut their family plan out.
And to add to yours, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It is broke payday and it needs fixed.
I think the way to
I
do
guess
that
I
is to
don't
find a
understand
cheaper way to
broken.
get the insurance.
We can look at alternatives. At this
I think
point,
that's a better plan.
we're paying our bills. We're not struggling to do that right now as we sit. We're in the black. Am I
There
right?
might be, I don't know, we can talk to the league about this, but I think you can also sign in perhaps to join the same group as the state of Kansas employees.
I think that's what we were.
And I think that was brought up before too.
Yeah, and
We just need to look into it.
I've just never seen
I remember
what the
that.
result of that is, if any, like savings wise or otherwise.
I just can't imagine it's going to be a lot different.
Have you ever dealt with eligibility pools? I have. One of the things that you issue with eligibility pools is you need to look at the age of the people that you're putting in it. Because when you got younger people, they'll go out and get it on their own. You got older people, if you don't make it mandatory, if you have any type of clause or whatever in it that is not mandatory, then the younger people go out and get it on their own because they can get it cheaper, and that leaves you with an older pool. And that in turn raises the prices. That's just the way it works. So you want to make sure when you're dealing with eligibility pools, number one, you make it mandatory. Number two, that you don't, it sounds like age discrimination, but insurance companies get by with it because they are. And that's what it boils down to.
And that's one of the reasons why going with like the state is that obviously the pool is much, 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 much bigger.
Right. If you get in
That's
something like
where we
that,
look at it.
but I don't,
Otherwise we
we
won't
sure
see
want to
much of it.
compare what we're paying now with what the state's paying and that kind of stuff before we jump off.
Well, you had brought up officer thing with Maple Hill, so that's kind of keeping with Maple Hill and the theme with Mr. Hess here. How is the insurance over at Maple Hill because from what I understand is you gave an increase to what they were getting and then you stopped paying the insurance and they've gone out and got their own. Could you explain that a little bit?
Well, in Maple Hill, but Passville, for example, they're paying part of the insurance and he's getting it on his own. They're paying the premium from the insurance that he's getting to his family. So
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said that you were in Maple Hill too.
I am.
Oh, okay.
In Maple Hill, but I'm in Paxico as well.
Okay. Because what I remember right when we had talked to Maple Hill is that there was a price that the insurance was, and they gave the employee a raise to what that price was.
Oh,
And then from that point forward, they were over their insurances, so you weren't paying the high premium rates anymore. Is that correct?
I believe that's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And I can ask Ryan what his insurance is the next time I see him.
Is this something we want to table to get some more information together?
Yeah.
Make a motion to table it to the next list.
Well, I don't know. It was just information on the agenda, so I think he had any action plans, so you can just, I think you need to table it.
And I will get together the evaluations as well and provide those to you also. Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the annual CMB licenses.
I'll move to approve Hilda's.
Second.
A motion by Brett to approve Hilda's CMB license and seconded by Payday. Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous.
I'll move to approve VRB.
Second by Joe. All in favor? Unanimous.
I'll move to approve Eskridge Market.
Second.
Okay, motion by Brent to approve the Eskridge Market CMB license. Page, I think. Yeah, we can discuss it. Seconded by Joe. Any further discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. There is a change in these, the way that they process them. I think we talked about a couple meetings ago. The applicant does not give all their paperwork to the city now. They have to actually send it in to the state, or is it local? State, with their $25 fee. At this point, I think our code is written that they pay us that $25 fee in addition to, I think, administrative fees. So the question is, do we want to continue to charge that 25 and tell me what it is altogether?
So I gave you a copy of it. They pay, it used to be they paid all of this. For instance, like, the grocery store and the convenience store it'd have a $50 fee, and then we would send $25 of that to the state.
Mhm.
So basically we had a $25 administrative fee and then
Yeah.
But it was all lumped
State,
together,
right.
and so it's still worded that way.
And then the other one's more, isn't it? $100.
And yeah, Hilda's is 125.
125.
Yeah,
What's the state fee? Is it still just 25 or is it higher?
25.
So that's a discussion. If we want to remove that $25 fee since they're no longer paying it, or just leave it as is.
I say leave it as is.
It's an administrative fee. I mean, you guys decide what it costs, the time and effort to get this prepared for you for approval in the business at least, right?
I do think we still, yeah.
So there's some cost there, so just whether the $50 is sufficient.
No interest, I will move on.
I'm still. Oh, it was right here. I don't know. So, yeah, for Hilda's it's 125. So she still pays us 125, or do we take the 25 off?
That's
that
what we're
she
saying, leave
sent.
it.
So she's gonna pay 125 and the other two are gonna pay the 50.
Correct.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. All right, dock and lake fees. If we are gonna make a change on these for the 2026 year, it does need to be in this meeting so that we have sufficient time to bill them for it. You do in the back have the last 5 years, 6 years. I did take that list and also add just some calculations. This is just to make it easier. It's not suggesting anything. It's just so you can see. And it's confusing format. I apologize. If I had more time, I would have made it better.
Oh, there we go. That's like she said in the back. I thought it was in that book.
I also did tally a couple of the top ones, and the number did not line up with what we actually earned. It was shorter, so we made more than what should have been by those numbers. The
Maybe there was more structures.
yeah, so I don't know if we just don't
With
have
it
them in the
was
count
made.
somehow. Right. But anyway, I did the last 3 and they were all higher. So what we've actually made over the last 3 years was higher than what was projected from that amount.
So I would say on this that in 28 years, we've only raised the dock fee 6 times. And that's from 1997 to 2025. We've only raised the dock fee 6 times. From $40 to $50 to $75 to $100 to $120 and then to $195.50. So similar to the water rates that we had to play catch up on behind, this is not far behind with that because that was 3 times that we did the water rates since that. So I mean,
Can I have a copy of that when you're done with the meeting?
sure.
Well, according to the treasurer's report for November in the lake fund, you're still gaining every month and year to date, you're still gaining.
How much are we, I'm trying to remember, what was our part of the bill next year for the streets?
That's
70,
that's
76?
it's around 75, 78, I think, but it's set aside in the lake reserve fund. That
Right.
it's set aside in addition to the lake
Okay.
fund. If I'm reading the
Okay,
treasurer's
so that's
reports
above and
right.
beyond.
Right, it's a separate item on the treasurer's report.
I had done a number of raising because right now they pay $16 and some cents a month for a dock. I'm going to reiterate that dock increases their property values $20,000 to $50,000. It's only a privilege that we give to them, and so I did a rough figure of raising it $8 a month, which would generate an extra $30,240 for the lake fund. And it would get us a step, and I use the $8 just simply because we did that when we raised the water rate fund. So I just used the $8 because I figured if we could do it for one, it's fair to do it to the other. So that's what I based that on, was that increase. I don't think that $8 a month with only 6 increases in 28 years is anything to really argue about.
So you're proposing $8 a month
An $8 a month raise, yes.
on the dock fee, which is
$16 right now.
So for the year total, they are $195.50 for a
Mhm.
regular size dock. I'm just throwing all the math out.
Right.
And then for oversized, we charge $287.50. So an $8 increase is $96 for the year. That makes the total for regular dock $291.50. So from
if you add $8 a month.
Mhm.
yeah, $195.50 to $291.
It's about a 30% increase.
Yeah, I think
33%.
that's ridiculous. Given
It's
the fact that your
50%.
treasurer's report shows you're still
Oh,
coming
yes.
out on it every year.
You mean what I know?
We were still coming out on it with the water, and we raised it to our citizens more than that in a foul swoop. I think it was like 90 some percent.
Right.
How does the barracks deal? I know that the barracks cannot be raised more than a certain amount
Oh, is there a limit on that?
on the barracks. There is.
I don't think that's accurate, Joe.
I
I've
don't
never
think
heard
there's
that.
a
It's like their docks.
Or no, on the
Their lease.
property.
Rent for the
lease.
property.
Well,
Yeah,
that's-
the lease is the lease.
That's because the barracks set on the property with the lease. We're talking the fees. And while you're bringing up the barracks, I don't think it's really fair that the barrack people pay the same price for a third of the size slip that somebody across the lake pays for a full 20 by 24 dock. I don't think those prices jive to me. I think that the barrack people are paying the same for way less. And I've stated that prior.
What's the limits for docks for the barracks?
There is six.
There's 6 slips.
There's 6 slips right now. They have come in and had
Oh,
wanted to
okay.
add a couple more slips. But currently there's 6 slips and they pay theirs through like a barrack fund
Yeah,
thing.
it's the
So
North
one person
Shore.
pays it and then you guys divvy up your share of what you owe. North Shore, that's how it's written there, North Shore fee or whatever. So that's how that works.
And they pay the $195.50 for their
Per
slip.
Per slip.
Per slip.
Yeah, which I mean, it doesn't give them any standing room really. It's just to get on and off their dock. It's just basically a slip. I mean, they really can't even fish off of it like you could over on the other side.
I do want to say that it's not as simple as just a singular fee. Unfortunately, we're not charging. Most people have more than one item. So I know in the last 6 months, we've had people with 6 different charges. So when you're talking about a 50% increase, you're not just talking about them paying $291.50. You're talking about them going from $1,000 to $2,000 in an increase.
I
So
know.
that is something to consider. That's quite a jump for a larger load.
What about the possibility of leasing, like the barracks owners lease the land that their barracks sits on? What about leasing the shoreline and then folks would be responsible for maintaining? If a tree needs cut down, they would be responsible for that.
They're already responsible for that.
Yeah, they're already leasing it technically.
Mhm.
The court has already said there was technically a lease. is what
It's a
it is.
lease.
Well, it's called a license. It's not really a lease because it's not right in writing, but it's of a color of that. So it's their rights are basically to maintain and maintain their own dock. And it's
And my concern with that, Joe, would be is you go leasing them that land. That means none of our citizens can walk on the shoreline. You're taking their right to walk along the shoreline.
I don't think you can lease it to them because it's under the
Corps of Engineers.
Corps of Engineers.
no, it's not.
It was sold to the
It's
city.
No, it's the city's
It's
property.
the
It's
city's
just,
lake.
it's
City
just,
property, but
yeah.
the Corps of Engineers control that, where that water level goes and where that.
well, all I know is I've
We
never
have
seen,
had them step in and give permission or non-permission for people that have built docks in the past or renovation to docks. I mean, Ty, go ahead and finish, but whether
well,
it is,
I'm not,
I know we have.
their regulatory authority being what it is, I don't think they have a position when it regards to the city's use of its property in a lawful way, meaning ownership is different than regulation. And that's what we've always had the difficulty with some people understanding, which is that we're not regulating it as a sovereign entity. We're regulating it as an owner. So we own the property. We tell you what to do on our property. Just that's it.
It's worth noting too that if you leased as a whole instead of docks, you could still dictate what they were able to do on the property. You don't just take that away.
Well, and I think that's the concept is, the intention could be, you're right. What do people think of when they think of lease if you don't have a writing, right? Because pretty much every lease I know has a written component to it, meaning everybody's duties are filled out unless it's a residential lease, in which case state law takes some things out of that. In this kind of thing, it would be basically without an agreement, it would be kind of open to interpretation. So what we've got is this, I call it a license, meaning we basically dictate the terms at any particular time. It could change if we desire. And one of the, but I think the consistency is that we've always said it isn't, you can't restrict people from walking on it or using it. Other than your docks, the docks themselves are private property, but not anything else.
And if you have a patio, they can't go picnic on your patio. If you're paying for a structure, they can't use your fire pit if you have a fire pit. I mean, you have to be respectful of the items that people have placed there, but you can be anywhere along the shoreline because there's a ton of fishers that there's many holes around the lake and they have to be able to, I mean, to block our citizens and everybody else from that would be a shame.
Question from the audience.
Yeah, I have a question. I know it's probably not popular to raise anything. I don't like it either. But would it not be better, just a thought, to raise it over like a 7-year plan instead of jumping on it all at one time? Give them to work in for a 5-year plan. Like they pay $16.25 now, just raise it to $20. That's like $3 and a quarter. And instead of them paying $1.95, they're gonna pay $2.40. And if you, and then the next year, if you really wanted to, then you could set them up in $5 increments. And then the next raise would be $25, basically a month, would raise them to $300, 30 would be $360. And then you could skip a year, give them a break that you're not gonna raise it at all or whatever. I would think if you could get your end goal to an amount that's just levels out and it stays there for however long, and you do have good plans on what you're gonna use the excess for, I know it'd be easier to swallow if I knew how much I was gonna pay. It's no different than knowing when the water rate goes up or when the gas rate goes up. You kind of have an idea what you're gonna be using when it comes in each month. But instead of, that was just a thought, because I mean, I did that a long time ago. You guys talked about this years ago, and I put it down to where finally it's $50 a month. But that would be over 7 years, and that would stretch it out. I mean, if that's what you want to do, and then if the other ones are too much that pay more, then kind of do the same thing, but lower some of those. I know you don't want to lower them, but if everybody paid $600 a year, you would make more money than you're making now. Because the people that are paying a whole bunch are kind of making up that extra, and those that just have the little. And like I said, I don't like raises either, but big raises are scarier than working out a plan with everybody for a little bit at a time.
Considering that though, that's still a 23% increase.
Even just did $4.
Yeah.
According to the treasurer's report here, you gained $6,660 just in November, and I don't know what they'd be paying in November. So the months that you are actually collecting more fees and that type of thing. Of course, this lake fund encompasses more than just the docks. I realize that, but you gain $6,600 and something there just in November, and I don't know what even people are paying in November, but you're still gaining in an off month. To me, it looks like that this thing is going pretty well.
It would look that way, but we wouldn't be cutting Todd half the time trying to find $40,000 for a cop and trying to find money for employee raises and everything else if everything's going fine.
So your intent is to have the lake pay for the officer if we decide to have one. Is that your intent?
Absolutely. I've never hid my intent. I've never hidden my intent that I want $100 a month.
I'm just asking, Brett. It's don't require a sour response.
So they get charged
let's
a regular
let
fee for
speak as
fire pit, flagpole. That's a dock fee, essentially.
Yes.
If
The structure fee, yeah.
I'm sure there might be more people
Same
out there
thing.
that would love to have a fire pit, but they don't want to pay that cost. But if it was a set cost that, hey, you can have a fire pit, flagpole, dock, all of it, $400 a year. I would much rather do that than pay a separate fee for a fire pit, a separate fee for a flagpole, a separate fee for a sidewalk. And I think more people would do it. They would put a sidewalk down there, but right now they're not. Well, why don't can't we have a talk with the folks at the lake, go out there and have a town hall meeting with them?
I mean, we've talked to them. Of course, they want lower fees and they want to pay
Well,
less. than
everyone
nothing,
wants lower
but
fees. Everyone wants
what
lower
do we
taxes.
do for them? Give them something our citizens don't get. Increase their
they
property
pay
values
for
by
that.
$20,000 to $50,000. We also give a free 99-year lease to the golf course, which also increases the property values out at the lake. It also gives them free waters. Our city is giving, and what are we getting in return? It's time that we, the city, get some profit off of that and transfer some of that into our general fund so that we are not struggling all the time. I mean, we and our citizens should benefit off of that. The lake residents are benefiting off of it. They're benefiting off our generosity. They absolutely are.
We probably shouldn't use the word profit. We're not in the profit business.
We're the landlord, they're the tenant.
We're not in the profit business.
Well, that's why we
I
are
just think
cutting
that what
Todd
you're
and trying to find
proposing
ways
is
to pay for
totally
something that we
outlined.
don't have
That's
money
just
for.
Hold on, we got me at the same time. You're fine. Just, we can't hear everybody if you're over talking.
Just if you don't butt in, you don't get a chance to say anything.
That's, yeah, that's why I say we leave a little space. Go ahead.
And
Richard.
if I could add, and again, I am not here as a representative of the lake. I'm here as one property owner from the lake. I would ask all the council to look at this issue as though you were looking at how it would affect you if you were an owner. Again, the golden rule, treat others as you would like to be treated. I think an increase is probably justified. I don't know about a 50% increase. Talk about landlord and lessee relationships. What landlords would get a 50% increase without having a lot of pushback? So just remember that we're all neighbors, and
if you if I was your landlord and I increased it, you could move out, but I guess your other option would be taking out the dock and then we'd be out, but that's just not,
that's
not
not
reasonable. Not at all.
But it does cause people to move. It's a slower, larger, more painful process for sure.
If
But
you've
people
noticed
do
that
move.
the new people that move in have absolutely no problems paying the new fees, it's the old people. So if they're gonna leave and the new ones are gonna come in, then let them.
Long-term
Because
residents.
they're going to pay.
I don't want to chase people out of our
I
community.
don't
though,
either. I mean,
No.
We're not chasing. It's about
So-
being fair. $8 a month raise. Who has gotten an less than $8 a month increase on anything that any of you have paid for in the last few years? I mean, it's all way more than that.
Can I maybe just throw out, because we don't have the
We
time.
did it to our citizens with the water. Now we want to turn around and argue the opposite.
Everybody that's paying for our water is paying the same increases, and the people that buy it from us pay more. It was a mandatory increase.
want
It's-
A 90% increase is what
But
it
it was
was.
mandatory, was it
I
not?
think your math is off, but
No, it's not. You keep saying that and it's not.
Do you want a
Anyway.
motion on this?
I would like to just rein us back in and say, we just don't have the time to dedicate to an overhaul at this time. So what I might suggest in the short term is an increase, maybe a reasonable increase. That would be my preference. Obviously, you as a council can make your decision. I've thrown out some suggestions. You can round the numbers up to an even number, whatever you want to do.
I would move that we raise the standard dock rate to $200 and just prorate it accordingly on the oversized structures and that type of thing.
So from 195.50
So
to
you're not even
$200.
$1 a month. You're talking cents.
I made a motion, Brett.
Second.
And this is the discussion part of that motion.
Okay.
All right, I just want clarity on what the oversized dock will be then.
Well, just prorate it in there. I
don't
got a calculator here to do that right now.
$4.50 is the increase to the main.
$4.50 a year increase.
Yeah,
Wow,
okay.
that's really gonna get us somewhere.
Would it be the same for the other?
You talked about
What's the-
surveys,
Halo
Heyday.
High.
Why don't you survey the
What's the
citizens
full-
of this
what's the
town and
oversized?
ask them
I'm
what
sorry,
they want?
287.50. Mission Valley, I don't know how to do math.
Yes, true.
Because
I
they
think
don't
people
run a
are
business.
saying-
You're probably surprised at what they
Who's good at
say.
calculation?
So,
Something to say.
Annie, as a business owner, can I have something to say in this discussion? I raised my hand earlier and nobody saw me.
I saw you, Dolly, but I'm not gonna cut off the council talking.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so you can speak now.
Okay.
So 2.3%.
The relationship of the city to the people out at the lake who are my customers, and a lot of them are my friends, and I wish to treat them fairly and not get greedy while we're doing it. And they pay property taxes out of the wazoo because of where they live.
Nothing
and
to
the way,
do with us.
and
Let her speak, please.
and the way they live. I'm just saying that how you treat them affects how they feel about us. And if they didn't pay attention to these meetings and realize that a business person is sticking up for them and just letting them be run over, if you're going to make increases, they need to be able to either have. I wish we had a representative from the lake, but we don't have that. Well, but that's all I want to say. They are our neighbors and our friends, and they pay property taxes, and we need to be a little bit more reasonable when we raise things and not 50%, for goodness sakes. Thank you for letting me speak.
Annie, I would like to clarify, we weren't raising anything like 50%. I thought you said that my total was it 50%?
Yes.
The second one that I gave about using the half of that.
Oh, the $4?
Yes.
No,
I'm
that would be
sorry, I'm not
25%.
tracking where you're
Okay.
going now. What?
That would have been a 25%.
That's what I thought. It was like 25%.
I don't remember $4.
So,
Sorry. The one Marcia suggested was 23 years was closer to 50%. That 96, the 96 a year
is 50%.
Right.
The
Yes.
$4 is
Yes.
25%.
Sorry, I wasn't tracking because I thought Marcia was the one.
But you're talking a month and I'm talking a year in my motion.
Okay, so
We
to-
require them to pay yearly pay date, but the monthly fee for that is $16 and something. And the last
I
time we
realize
raised it
that, Brett.
3
I
years
realize
ago,
that,
we raised it
Hey,
a dollar.
can I clarify the motion? If you're gonna raise regular dock fees, other structure reserve space to 200, that's about 2.3%. I rounded it a little bit to make it a nice number. So 295 would be an oversize. It is currently 287.50.
Okay.
It was just a little shy of that. So is that okay with you on that motion?
Yeah.
I have a motion by
Wait, wait.
payday
What was the second? What was it?
for standard docks and decks, other structures and reserve spaces,
Oversized was
295.
295 even.
I had it motioned by payday to raise those rates to 200 and 295 respectively.
I think
And
it's
who
Jason.
seconded?
I think
Jason?
Jason's good.
Yeah.
And Jason was the second. Any further discussion?
Yeah. If regardless of where we go here right now, does that lock us into not making any change for the next year?
Because they pay them for the year. So the bill does go out January
This is yearly.
and they're due by the end of
Just wanna
January.
make sure.
At this time, it would be difficult to change.
The landlord still, so you could surcharge them if you wanted to. So there's really nothing stopping you guys from saying, we're now imposing a $10 surcharge. I don't know.
Or we take the next year to build a new plan.
Well, and that's where I was just gonna go, is that regardless of where we end up here, I think we're in agreement that it needs to go up. And rather than try to do it in, 20 minutes here, let's talk about it between now and
We could
whenever,
have a
so
work
we
session
can.
on it and study the structures and all that type of thing and see where we're at.
So, with that.
Okay. All in favor? 4. All opposed? And then Brett opposed. Moving on to council appointments. I think Brett brought this on, is that right? But we forgot to do our appointments last meeting. At this point, I think the only
code? Or the council?
president of the council.
Yeah. Who was president of the council, Tim?
Tim was previously. This is someone who would fill in for me if I'm absent. I'm not sure what other responsibilities they have. I just want.
I think it's the body that if there is both the mayor and the the president and the council are gone, they elect among themselves. They
Which is what we've done in the
supervise.
past.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Again, I think past practice has been the longest serving becomes the president. Or
There's no rule.
There's no rule on that. You can do whatever you want.
That is how it's gone in the past.
That's how it got roped into filling in with the
right.
mayor and Tim.
We just made the joke. So I do need a motion if you guys want to discuss amongst yourselves to get that going.
And if I read it correctly, whoever is acting as, or whoever becomes the president loses their vote.
No.
No.
Dairy.
Wow.
No, during,
No.
Oh, seriously? Wow.
No, that would
I
be.
guess because you'd have an even council then.
There's
potentially.
commission, in a commission form of government, that's true, but the president of the council does not lose their vote when they're presiding over the meeting. They're just the presiding officer.
And that's also how we've used it in the past. So whoever was president of the council or acting president still voted.
Now,
Because otherwise if we were down to the third, we would not have quorum if we didn't have that vote.
that's right.
okay.
Anybody want to entertain a motion? Not gonna let me get sick next meeting.
I'm just waiting on the four of you to do what you're gonna do. Honestly, like that's how it's been done in the past, but that's not what's wanting to be happening. So you can decide. But yes,
It doesn't matter to me. It's up to
Well,
you guys.
I'll make the motion that we place Brett as the president of the council.
Second.
Motion by Clay to appoint Brett as the president of the council, seconded by Joe. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I'm just gonna abstain.
You're abstaining. Okay. And then Brett abstained. All in favor. This can has been kicked down the line a little bit. It should have been brought up repeatedly at previous meetings. We have had it, or is this?
I don't think so, because like I said, the request was, and I think it was handed around back in October.
How long do we have to meet that deadline?
Oh, we should.
Well, I gave an initial response. It was what was required to be responded 3 days. And I've had discussions with Ms. Flores by email. I needed the council's action because the way Cora reads is that certain documents are accepted from disclosure if they're considered personnel records. But the council, so if you guys, then it makes, clears your staff or whoever, me in this instance, to turn it over to them. It doesn't, make them more important or less important than they were before. The reason that it's personnel matter, but we're not choosing to assert that, we're going to give them to you. And the reason why I had posed what I did is, number one, I think, as I understand it, somewhat the same, but a different format, or shocking. It was just minutes that I had and some other stuff. So I just said,
By
what?
chance, minutes of approval of anything?
No, not that. Just the, what I had gathered before, which was the same thing I had probably reported on at the time. So
I'll move to release the records.
Are you talking everything that Lisa handed out last time?
yeah, and then there's
So are you moving to release?
Checking
All of it.
information with information on those documents. They're on the back actually, so you're not gonna be able to see it unless you're. They're not super obvious.
So that motion died.
I would just like clarity on what's considered a personnel document.
There are unredacted personal checks in that stack. Right? Somebody's
Checking
personal
account
bank account
numbers.
information, Brett.
Well, you could, this is what I've got here. Is,
In what?
3 citizens who work
I may do that. That's what it says.
I feel like
That's a
should've
huge
been-
no-no.
I mean, we got totals of what payments were made.
It better not be.
Yeah, here.
That's a problem.
What do you?
Yeah.
Would you like me to hand out more checks?
Well, I have no problem redacting those, and that's.
I have no problem with that.
You can't.
I would like clarity on what's considered a personnel document.
Well, there isn't gonna be a
In- Specific to this.
Okay, specific to this would be, I would say that would be discussions, any discussion you have about a person's employment, their conditions of employment, their compensation outside of pay, accommodations made outside of pay, let's say. I mean, the world is a pretty broad brush, you could say, because I read it by saying, what could you turn over, or what do you have to turn over when somebody asks you, say, I want all employee records of everybody of every kind in the city of Eskridge. You can answer by saying, the only thing you're entitled to is pay, current employees' names, positions, and length of service. Okay, so 4 things. So that's kind of the response, and everything else that is in their personnel file is related to that, would be something they've been investigated for as an employment matter, would be in that realm of personnel records. And I would read it probably pretty broadly, in the sense that I consider just about everything that we had produced back in a year or so ago, when this happened, a year and 6 months ago, whatever it was personnel related. Now, it has been provided, from what I can tell, it's probably been provided to the floors already, not from this office. So, and that's why I'm saying there's a certain level of, are you just being difficult for difficult's sake? But that's still, if there needs to be a page by page review, I'm not saying no to that either. I'm just saying we've had this request outstanding. I think you don't have to turn it over. We've given the 3-day notice, so it's the timing that needs to be done, and you guys control that. Meaning, you could say, no, we're not turning it over. It doesn't matter if it's been whatever it's been, or what the definition, we're not turning it over. Or you can say, open the floodgates. Or you can say, we're going to look at every page and we're going to give you, Todd, the pages you're allowed to give.
I say open the floodgates unless there's something to hide. So if somebody doesn't want to open the floodgates, it's because they want to keep something from the public, period. If you want to pick and choose what to release and what not to release, you are wanting to hide something.
I disagree with that. It's not that you're hiding from something. It's what the law dictates. That's it.
No, he just said we get the decision. So your decision will be whether you want to hide something or you don't want to hide something. You actually want the citizens that you ask to vote for you to know the truth. Or not even the truth. I'm not even going to say that. Know the black and white, because it's black and white there. There is no disputing it.
Oh, there's plenty of dispute, because the record's not even accurate. With the stuff that's in the record, it's not accurate.
Exactly.
Because some of those checks that are included in there aren't added to the tally that should be taken off of that total. And none of the $100 a month stipend has been taken out of that total. And if you want evidence of meetings where it was discussed, you can go look at them. Andy found one half the meeting minutes are missing.
No, because when you cross-reference the minutes that Annie brought up that was missing them, it was printed in the county paper correctly, and there's the finishing to the sentence of the missing minutes that she claimed. I can provide that at the next
That'd be
meeting.
great. I would love to see that. I did
Awesome.
bring it into the
Actually-
meeting when we discussed this and wanted an
Actually,
answer.
here's my file on all of this right now, so we could probably squash this immediately.
Down it.
We can squash that because I can provide that.
I guess how closely have we looked at these documents if there's still unredacted checks on them is the concern.
I find it.
I feel like we're safely
And in case of
sharing
any
records
emergency, my
appropriately.
staff
That's
at the
good.
radio are not with them at all times. That was what we
Okay, you emailed the packet, so all I can say is that's.
Because like I said before, I went through every single minutes and read all of them from 2016 to 2025. There is no minutes that says that we approved anything. And like we said before, Todd would never let us approve a stipend like that without and doing a payment system of an employee using a credit card and reimbursing us back. That would not ever happen. And Donna would have for sure had it in the minutes if we had the motion for that. There is no minutes that have that. But as I said before, there was still the use of the card. It was unapproved for personal things that he then paid back. That wasn't approved by us to use that and to then pay us back. I mean, Lyon County Electric, PBS Kids, $60 Ray-Ban sunglasses. I mean,
It's not $60 Ray-Ban sunglasses. The website sells
$58.
$2 sunglasses, and he bought $58 of safety glasses.
Miami sunglasses, $58.
Yep.
Walmart, $162.36 personal. Amazon personal. The
All of which
PBS
happened
Kids,
in
personal.
2017.
Amazon Digital personal. Amazon Digital personal. Lyon County Electric
I
personal.
would like to see it.
All of which happened in 2017.
Jason,
And
But
if
it
he-
still happened.
and if he was
The misuse of
counseled,
it still happened.
and if he was counseled, it would be in a personnel file, and it was 7 years ago, so it may have been expunged from a personnel file in that meantime. We won't have a record of any of that.
I mean, you are throwing out all the excuses in the world to not.
So are
hold
you.
somebody
You're
accountable.
throwing out all the excuses in the world to hold somebody accountable for
Because
something
it's in black and
they
white.
may
right
have
there.
already been held accountable for.
We're not held accountable for using the city
You have
credit
no
card
idea.
for their personal use and then trying to reimburse it back. And then all of a sudden, completely stopping it 4 years ago. We gave him the stipend of $100. So why did the stipend stop 4 years ago when Terry became mayor? Without word to us, without anything. You've talked about it being on the appropriations. I've also looked at the appropriations. They do not say Mike's cell phone appropriations. I can provide those
Once I
to you
looked, I
as
did.
well. But you've all claimed that. There's been online claiming it as well. I also researched all of that for all of you and can provide that to you as well.
Payday, how long ago did you sell your gas station?
For $250,000.
How long ago?
I'm sorry, that's inappropriate to this. Absolutely not
Throwing
okay.
it out there.
How long ago did you sell your gas station?
Be 5 years, 1st of May.
So right before Terry took office, when Mike Bone started claiming his cell phone for his own personal business.
5 years ago, that's 4 years ago with Terry, so that math doesn't add up by a year.
Right,
So
right before Terry took office, which is what you said.
Okay, that's,
the month Terry took office, let's make that.
we're
very
not
clear.
gonna agree
The
on this
month
topic.
Terry
We've
took
continued to
office.
badger it to death in repeated meetings. The question right now is this Cora request.
And I say give the people the information or hide it, whatever you choose.
I look at it this way. That stuff was discussed in executive session here. We have no control over what Lisa or anybody else did or what they put out. I mean, it is what it is. But to me, what we do control is personnel matters that were discussed in executive session. And for me, you ought to hold that sacred, for lack of a better word. So
There's been no disciplinary action, so I don't see as if the previous council took no disciplinary action, I can't understand why we're having this discussion.
That's a good excuse to let something
Not an
slide.
excuse, it's a fact.
So how about you? What's your thing? Do you want to hold somebody accountable or not? Payday?
Well, here's what I think, Brett. I think there's a lot of stuff that you're not putting out there. Matter of fact, I've got some of it and I'm going to discuss it when we talk about personnel a while ago. But this Opens Record Act, I think Mr. Lightman's telling you what you really ought to do. He's being a little gray on it like he does a lot of things, but I think he's telling you that you should release the part that don't have that stuff in it that's not public information.
Is that what you're
Well,
saying, Todd?
Well, just so I'm not, try not to be as gray. at
I'd
all.
appreciate that.
Okay. You guys, if I haven't made it clear, you guys can make whatever records are in the possession of the city open records by action. Now, you guys have prudential concerns and you can redact things that you think are redactable, but in essence, there is no record of the city that you cannot turn over. But you've got to say to myself or whoever is answering, you can turn over these documents. It's not something we can do without your approval. So, I mean, is that clear enough? That there?
But what I thought you said before is that we can go through and turn over certain portions of it.
Well, I'm saying that yes, you can decide any notch on that realm, meaning turn them all over, turn one piece of paper over, turn selected ones. I don't care. That's the decision. You just have to have at least 3 people to vote on it in an open session to turn it over. So if you guys want to take back the tranche of documents and then hash it out, that's fine. Or somebody give me a summary, give me the list and I'll put it together. But you have to decide what you're going to release.
If anything.
If anything. Could be 0, could be all of them, could be anything in between.
I guess my question is the repercussions for not releasing anything.
I think
For not releasing.
I think it looks bad on us, like we're trying to hide something.
I'm asking if there's
Legal
actual repercussions.
Well, the only repercussions at this
Outside
point,
of, that's not what I meant, and you know it.
yeah, the repercussions are only about open records, that somehow these records are really not personnel records and you should be turning them over as financial records of the city. And I can see the argument for some of these, meaning the Visa bills that are in there are probably public records. But and then if you had some, I can't remember if there's anything else besides that. I mean, the Visa records are probably open, but I don't know about any of the other stuff. Minutes, there's some minutes in there that I just pulled, but it's more just trying to, make a full disclosure than anything. So, yeah, somebody could go through this and hack and slash and say, this really isn't a personnel record. And part of the idea here was to get the grouping of records out there and then say, okay, are we comfortable with all this? Yes, no. No, well, what are we comfortable with? And what's the council's decision? So, and we can go into an executive session, go page by page. That's how you guys can do it. But you got to come out of it with either 0 documents, all of them, or whatever in between.
I mean, obviously, public records should be okay to be shared.
Yes.
Clearly.
Well, to me, one of the issues here is we've got 3 council members sitting here that weren't involved in it initially, and now it's being handed to us.
I agree. This
We're
is a can that should not have been kicked down the road,
Exactly.
and it was. It should have been brought up repeatedly by Terry. It was not brought up at all his last 2 meetings.
well, the problem with that being is that I think there's issues that Mr. Luckman's not describing here, and those issues are liability to the city if we set all this stuff out here and accuse somebody of something that they've never been disciplined for, the county attorney won't look at it. I think you open the city up to liability that you can't afford to pay because you haven't been paying this guy any on-call time since 2016, and there's various other things that you haven't even paid him for. And
You have to
and
be
I think
sober
you
to
owe
be
him
on
a
call
lot of
24/7.
that.
You have to be sober.
I do not
I'm not,
think we need
I'm
to
not
make
saying that it's
allegations.
right.
I'm not
but
saying
you
that
should
it's
stop.
wrong, but I'm saying that means that 24 hours a day you cannot take a drink of alcohol or do anything. I'm not saying that if he does that, it's wrong. It's not. I mean, I sell liquor for a living. That's not what's wrong. What I'm saying is you can't be on call. You can't keep saying he's on call 24/7 when we know that he drinks, which is totally within his right. That's not anything wrong or bad, but you can't say he's on call 24/7 when we know that he drinks.
And they share that responsibility, to be clear.
Well, I
But
mean,
once again, that's not a dig at him. He has every right to be able to drink, but you cannot say that somebody is on call 24/7 when we know that people partake in drinking.
Okay, let's focus.
And we're not accusing anybody payday. We're just releasing
No,
black and white
I
information.
understand that, Brett. I understand that, but
Strange.
I'm thinking about the liability to the city. Personally, I don't care if they come back on you or all the other people that was involved in it over the last 10 years.
Well,
That's
any
not my,
decision you make now is on you too.
not my problem when they come back on individuals and the city altogether.
well, there's not going to be any liability for individuals. That's highly unlikely. I mean, there's all kinds of immunities that attach to persons in your position.
When they sat out here in the audience and put that in the minutes, you don't think there's a liability there?
Well, I would say that.
I think there is.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I can't convince people that that I know what I'm talking about. So just go right ahead. I mean, it's just 30 years of experience, payday.
No, I understand.
All right, that's all it is. No, you don't, but that's fine. Everybody get there gets to have an opinion, and there's no cost for you guys to be wrong. You got to sit here and you got to take a risk of being wrong when you sit up here. So I'm telling you right now, you guys, and it's not a recommendation. You guys have insurance for liability like this. There are immunities for people who are in legislative positions. I am not terribly concerned about what's going on, what could happen from a liability perspective, in that it seems that everybody wants to talk about it at length. So at a certain point, I can't control it anymore. So what I can't control is the fact you got an open records request that's sitting unanswered in front of you that needs to be answered. And I'm not going to say that there's a litigation protection on the Cora, because there isn't. If it's an open record, it doesn't matter if it says that we're all in cahoots about a conspiracy to defraud millions. If it's in there and it's an open record, it's got to come out. The only thing I see in here that's probably on the edge is the visa bills. The rest of the stuff could be, and you guys got to decide if you're going to let that out.
We can entertain a motion. If you guys want to discuss this further, we can also entertain an executive session. We do need to figure this out as a matter of urgency, I believe.
So let's talk about it in the executive session and determine what records that we think we're going to release.
Okay.
And get done with it.
Yeah, do that tonight, or you want to do that?
We've got it on the list already.
Yeah, but I've got a lot of stuff to discuss in there on what you and I, that meeting that you weren't able to come to. I got at least 20 minutes worth of stuff to discuss in there on stuff we've talked about.
Well, let's see what we can get done.
Drive on. Yeah.
We're at a point where this can't wait any longer, in my opinion.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and move on, and maybe we can hash that out. Okay. Permit office bids. We've been trucking along, and it's still going to be 10 o'clock. Just kidding. guys have had time to review your bids. We just have the two for the 2026 permit office year. Does anybody need them? John Walker and Julie Bissonnette.
I move to renew Julie Bissonnette's contract.
There's been a motion by Brett to renew Julie's contract. Is there a second? I'll let the motion die for lack of a second. I should have clarified earlier that the motion you made on the corner record did die for lack of a second. Just so you know, that's more of a record keeping.
So since my motion failed, I guess there's somewhat of a discussion. So I'm gonna ask Joe, like, what do you have concerns about Julie?
No, I've known John for quite a while. Jubal, his son, I ran cross country with, so I feel like I need to extend. So,
Does anybody else have anything they want to say?
My only thing from a purely financial standpoint, John Walker's bid is lower.
Yeah, but I said you could take $1,500 off of mine last time, which would make me about the same price as her. Yeah.
Well, she had your bid from last year and underbid you $100. That's why it's lower.
So hold on, hold on. I'm sorry. We need to clarify that because that was a bid that you submitted. Now you're saying it's been changed. Julie, I'm talking to you. Sorry.
The last meeting we had, I said, Tim had told me that he was not in charge in favor of bonuses at all. So I said, okay, fine, then I'll add $1,500 to my bid when I turn it in again.
Okay.
So I did. So you could take $1,500 could come off of mine, which would only make me $100 more.
That's not how
That
bids
is-
go.
that is
we
not-
can't do that.
They'll change them in the middle of something.
There's a whole process for bidding. I'm sorry. I do hesitate to do that. We're working on it with CDBG right now, and they have to be blind for that reason.
I do think she should have said that before this moment right here and made that clear.
And I don't remember that even being said at the last meeting.
I don't either. However, I do want to point out that she has made thousands of dollars more than anybody else in the history of the bait shop. And that has to be for something. And she's done it by bailing us out literally 4 days before when we had no contract and stepping up and doing it for us. And I know people have said that they've had complaints, but I went to Julie, I went to every single one of her employees. And as far as any of them can tell, they haven't seen anybody in this room inside the bait shop at all one time this year to try to verify any complaints about inside the bait shop and her running it. Not one person.
I have been at the lake, however.
But not in the
Many
bait
times.
shop where her contract's for. You've just been
I
out,
absolutely
like,
have.
out there.
And I've been in the bait shop,
Absolutely have as well, because license.
but I wasn't looking for anything. I went and got a candy bar and a soda.
Yeah, exactly.
I was looking at something.
I think it's a
Looking
fair-
at the swim
So
teacher.
what, did you have any complaints from when you were in there of anything you saw or alleged or anything? I'm just trying to
I will
figure out
say,
what
we do
is going
keep
on.
saying that none of them are substantiated, but there was a complaint for not cleaning up over by the rope swing. There were pictures brought in. You guys discussed it. I believe Connie Martin might have been the one that brought them in. I can't remember. I could be wrong. But it was discussed at the table. And I think I mentioned at some point in that conversation, and I could be wrong, isn't that Julie's job?
Yes, and I fixed that.
Yes, but not before we had the complaint. And I did that. You got on it after that. But was it
was
an issue
actually-
prior to that?
It was actually fixed before that because Martin came and complained to me, and I hand Connie Martin
But it
drove
is
by and
her and
handed
her
me a
staff's
trash
job.
bag while I was doing it.
And it is described in the contract clearly that she needs to go all the way down to that point.
Yeah. it's
And
hard to
and I
do
did
it.
make a point at that time. I'm just saying because it's been tossed around several times that there's no substantiated complaint. There is, but I said at that time, if it's around the 4th of July, then she should have been down there more frequently. And I do believe it does say that actually there is a frequency in the contract.
Connie Martin's complaint was the day after the fireworks.
That's
And
not
there
what was said in
still-
that meeting.
Well, that's what it was because I'm telling you for a fact because I was there cleaning it up. So, and that's not just cleaning up those fireworks. That's cleaning up the fire department show of fireworks and all the trash that's left behind from that as well. Because there's a significant amount of that, and it was all cleaned up. I also would say we're all about serving locally businesses, and you're gonna pass on your local person for a person that doesn't, that's not local.
You don't have to accept the lowest bid, right?
No, there's no requirement for lowest bid, Dorothy. I would hate to keep bringing people back every single meeting to make a decision, right? Or at least put out a motion. Somebody's got to do that action.
I mean, nobody's saying anything, so I'm gonna go to the crowd because I know Marcia's been out to the lake.
Oh,
Marcia,
whoa.
Let's let the
Do that.
council discuss
Hey,
it.
this is not a crowd discussion. Come on, let's get this thing under control.
oh, payday, you got your complaints from people that weren't sitting on this council that you thought were validated to say at the last meeting. And now suddenly when I had to ask an opinion of somebody that comes to the meeting, let's get it under control.
Here's the
If
thing,
you want
Brett.
John Walker, nominate him because we're setting his silence.
Here's the thing, Brett. If you want to kick it back till the next meeting, then people are willing to come in and tell you right here to you. But keep in mind that the sheriff will be at the next meeting as well.
What's that have to do with anything?
But you will find out if you do, if they decide to kick it
More
back to the next
accusating
meeting.
threats? coming
No,
from
no,
Payday?
no, I'm just saying, you want,
All right,
You-
we're devolving pretty rapidly. I
Yeah.
think if we're not ready to make a motion, then we are gonna need to table this again. I would rather not do that if we can come to a decision.
To me, we have the second bid. I mean, it's a valid bid. As was already pointed out, it's a few dollars cheaper. We don't have to go that route, but it's there. I see no particular reason not to vote on this. I think it's a legitimate bid. It meets our criteria.
For the clerk, which bid are you referencing?
Sorry,
The exact bid with a price change. It's the exact bid.
Just the name of the party who submitted the bid, please.
John H. Walker, doing business as Wabunsie Bait Shop. I move that we awarded the contract to John Walker.
second,
Okay, I have a motion by Clay to award the permit office contract to John Walker, seconded by Payday. Do we have any further discussion that has not already been discussed?
I need until February 1st to get my things out of there. Then
That's not what the contract says, but anyway.
Well, you got
All in favor? Got 3. Jason, Clay, Payday. All opposed? Brett, and then abstaining, Joe. Okay.
Can I say something here a minute? Not about that, just under continuing council business. If we originally, the agenda that came out, and I didn't catch it when we approved the agenda, but the one that was sent to us via email had this code clarification on it, and the agenda that we approved did not. So
Oh, you're right.
I didn't catch it at the time,
It was,
but I think that we need to talk
no,
about
I asked
that.
you to take off just the portion about the time of the meeting because Lisa corrected me and told me that there had been a resolution. There was another part of that. What was the appointments?
Yeah,
That's what we just did.
it's,
I
Did the
did
appointment.
the appointment.
I think this is,
and I know
I think
that
he's referring to a code
I'm
that,
returning to the codes that are not what we're doing right now and don't coincide with the elections and stuff like that.
Maybe this is what you got. Cause that's what I printed off too, and then I realized it was different.
Yeah, I know, I've got it. Here it is. I've got that, Sally. Thank you. In the Article 2 of the governing body 1-203, it says that the regular meetings of governing body should be held on the second and the fourth Monday of each month at 7:30. And I guess somebody questioned it and said somebody passed some kind of a
there is an ordinance
something
for that.
that changed it to 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
Right.
and I
So
asked,
why is it not updated in the codes, I guess is my question.
What year was that passed?
2016.
Well, it could have been, the code was 2017, so it could have been in the gap. Meaning,
Could have
when
been.
it takes them about 6 months to prepare those usually.
Okay, so that's resolved.
June
So let's
2016.
move on over here to officers and employees. It's 1-301 in the code book. And it says at the first regular meeting in May of each year, the mayor appoint, with the consent of the council, shall appoint city clerk, treasurer, and other things. Okay, I think we ought to change that to January to coincide when the elections are, because that was in May because of when the elections were prior to this code being published. So I'm gonna make a motion to change that to January.
If you're gonna change it, you need an ordinance that would actually be a written ordinance to approve.
Whatever it takes to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you changed the, because I complained about not being sworn in, like this said, with a sweep of the wand, you changed it. So I don't see why
We didn't change it. That's something else we actually do need to change.
But it was
Yeah, I
a
mean,
resolution.
We made a
Pass
resolution to bring you
Right,
guys
that's
in.
what I'm getting at. So whatever it is that you, when you sweep the wand to do that, we need to do that, change that to January to coincide with the meetings or with the election. What I'm saying.
Hold on a sec. Just let me look up something. Just talk amongst yourselves.
Are you verklempt?
Well, I'm going to, there's a statutory reference in there I want to look at.
So is this different than what they done when I complained about not being sworn in? It's in the
Yeah,
code.
because the statute there and the code
Well, she did
says
find
that you can
something,
pass
so
a
we should,
resolution. This, if you have a code section that says something,
Charter
The-
ordinance 14.
the only thing you would have to do, the only way to change a code section is by ordinance.
Okay, here. Charter ordinance.
Yeah.
So Lisa must have found it because at the time I asked
Yeah,
her,
this
she
was a
didn't.
change in, because of the election change,
She didn't know when I asked her.
14.
Here's that.
Oh, that's the charter. 14. Luke.
We did that. Under Terry. I feel like we didn't do annual appointments before that even.
Yeah, it just says, following is hereby substituted for 15204. Upon the effective date of this ordinance, the following city officers: municipal judge, municipal court clerk, city treasurer, chief of police, deputy city clerk, city attorney, and such other officers shall be hired at the will of the governing body. Said officers shall continue in their duties until terminated by the governing body, either for cause or not by cause as they deem fit. So, I mean, it's a reflection of the fact that no matter when an appointment is, all officers serve until their respective successors are duly appointed. So it would be the case, even if you guys were to appoint somebody to replace or that wouldn't, until that person is actually, say they had 2 months to quit their old job and come be clerk, then that other person would stay in there even though you appointed them because their successor has been not qualified. So I think this, I can't remember doing this.
I don't remember doing that more recently.
This is, according to this code, it's yearly.
Yeah, but a charter ordinance would trump, a later charter ordinance would trump the code because you're actually saying you're chartering out of it. Now, did it say specifically that it overturns that 301?
So what you're saying is it can happen anytime?
Yeah.
For any reason.
It also removed the necessity of reappointing every single year.
Yeah, but it's the
I think that was the
officer,
main.
yeah, and the officers, I mean, you understand that that's not an employee situation necessarily. It's just removal of them as the officer.
I'm just talking about the appointed people, not the
hiring.
hiring.
Yeah, but I'm saying is too that just because you make somebody not an officer doesn't mean they're not an employee.
Well, I understand that, but this specifically points those people out in the appointment part.
Yeah.
So Charter 14
Okay,
already
I'll get back
corrected.
the official records, but that's, I didn't remember that. 'Cause that's,
14?
Yeah. Charter ordinance.
Okay.
we're still gonna check that.
Are you
statute right.
satisfied we can move on with that?
Do you want copies of this?
Good gravy payday.
So what?
Are you satisfied with that? We can move on to a different.
Well, I suppose what you're saying is that nothing happens between now and then. We're not
I
going
think
to do it in May, or what do you
Well, I
say?
think that the mayor always appoints. So if the mayor wants to appoint somebody to a position and you guys vote for it, then you can say,
Essentially, I mean, it eliminated the need to do it as a yearly activity, basically reappointment. So, okay.
Okay.
The next thing on the agenda was the CCTV bids or the cameras. Those were sent via email. Do you remember what the name is? ITT. I didn't even print it. And I forgot to stick it.
It's INA alert from Ellenwood. So, and again, we may not have the answers to this, but I was just curious. I hadn't, prior to appointment, I came to pretty much every meeting, or tried to anyway. I hadn't heard of this or hadn't heard of this request. So I was curious who requested this. Do you know?
They
Does
approached
anybody know?
us.
And
They approached
you.
us. And I know cameras have been a topic. So anyways, he came out to do quotes. Terry walked him around. And,
did Terry request it, or
no, they approached us.
and when was this? Was it whenever this November 17th? Was that? It was
Shortly before the bid came in. I mean,
okay. Do we know what we spec'd, what we told them that we wanted? As far as we want XYZ, did we have any of that?
it's in the bid. It says, exactly what, where.
I understand.
That's what him and Terry worked out. You're not, that's not like you
We're not
have
bound
to
to
do
that.
it. Yes.
Well,
thank you. Bound to that.
Certainly. No, I understand that. It just typically,
And there was 2 bids there. There was quite a price range.
well, and it's different. It's different approaches. It's the same company. It's a different
Right.
approach. But
Yeah.
So, and do we know? Did we contact or did we have any other requests from anybody else?
No.
So again, I've had quite a bit of contract experience, and this is not saying that we don't need, or whatever the case is, but couple of things, you don't want the contractor to drive the train. You tell them what you want. And you get multiple bids as well. So that's something if we want to continue to look at it or whatnot, I would certainly want to put this out to others as well. So, and I'd want to look at, and that's why I was asking, what did we spec? And so I think the answer is we didn't. They told us what they would do. So
No,
I think
Terry
guided
walked
them.
around with him and they talked about, Terry told them what, this is what we've been talking about, or this is what we'd like. And it's just informational.
While we're looking at this information, I'm trying to think of who else. Paxco, Alta Vista, and Alma also have like citywide camera systems.
Uh-huh.
I think that's right.
I think that's all of them. While we're looking at this, and it's just in our heads, would you mind getting a hold of them and seeing who they go through?
Sure.
And roughly what that costs them?
Paxico, Elma,
Alta Vista.
and Alta Vista.
Are you talking about the ones that are connected to dispatch?
Yep.
I will
Yeah.
say too that also, I believe Lisa had reached out to Chris Culligan and Justin Rush, and Mike is the one that installed our security cameras and did all of that. So he should be able to do that for us here at City Hall. And that's according to Chris Culligan and Justin from his notes. So I think the simple thing would be to get in touch with Mike, because he could probably have it done by the first of the year.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
Because Justin said it was real simple and real easy in his response to Lisa.
yeah, that'd be a great place to start. Absolutely.
Hey,
Yes.
everybody was supposed to sign me.
Oops. I think you have to do two
Is,
copies.
is that something everybody thinks we need, cameras everywhere? I mean,
Yes and no. I know the sheriff's department uses them as an aid.
They caught the guy that robbed my store using the camera
Yeah.
on the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm just talking about, these are in the water plant, the bait shop.
Well, and I don't think we want them necessarily in the water plant or we've talked about having cameras at the bait shop for quite a while, and I think that's a good idea. Because we have had vandalism and issues like that out
I'm
at
just
the
asking
bait shops.
because it's new to me when I got
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
Especially with the damage. Never mind.
Um,
I'm just adding that.
But most of the ones that the other cities have are like on their main drag. Heavy traffic areas.
Which would probably be helpful as well, since we've had some drive-in theft in the past, and criminal damage. So, if you guys are looking, we're talking about doing further bids. I think we're probably done with this conversation. We're ready to move on.
I just wanted to know the background.
Okay. We are now for mayor, council concerns or comments. I wanted to. Isla Rose Bosworth asked me to share that the Redeemer Lutheran Church is doing a New Year's breakfast. It is January 1st, obviously 2026, from 9 to 11 a.m. It's going to be at the Lake Wabunsee Fire Station, and it is a free will donation. Dine in or carry out. I just wanted to share that.
I've heard really good things about that breakfast.
Right. She wanted to know if anybody had actually heard about it yet.
I have,
Couple?
but she messaged
Okay.
me.
Direct contact, little different. Okay.
What's the breakfast called?
It's the Redeemer Lutheran Church's New Year breakfast
At the
at the
Lake Fire
Lake
Station.
Wabunsee Fire Station. Yes, so I wanted to ask, speaking of that, before we move on, would we be in favor, council, of having like an events and announcements at the beginning of the meeting instead of the end with the concerns and comments? Might just be extra nonsense, but I feel like some of that stuff gets lost. People usually drop off the feed by the time they get there.
That's fine if you wanted to talk about it earlier.
Okay, and maybe like a kudos. It's an option. It was suggested when we did our candidate forum to have like a positive moment, and I actually think that's a really good idea to try to change kind of the momentum of our meetings to be better. So I'll just call it announcements at the beginning. If you guys bring them in, also you are welcome to share them. So local goings on, things like that, celebrations, stuff like that. I would like to. So I'll tell you where to stick it, I guess. Anyway.
I'll tell you where to stick it, girl.
Oh, I do that all the time. Let's rewind that and pretend I never
Are you
said
gonna
it.
determine the current events on the agenda, or how you gonna do it?
Well, yeah, I'll just call it announcements, I think. What do you say?
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah. And I just have a question. Actually, this is probably for Todd. This relates to the memo that Lisa put out the other week or two ago, where it was a discussion about Robert's rules versus other rules and whatnot. She contacted the league. League suggested we look at our city code book to see if we had a code of procedure was adopted. And did we adopt it?
Well, okay, I don't know if you did.
I don't think we did. That's my question.
Yeah, the league itself has a little pamphlet book that is the uniform procedures for Kansas City. Yeah. So usually if the city adopts it, that's in the code. It's in the same part that is in like section 2 that we're just talking about. So I didn't take a look at that yet, but if it's there and you've adopted it, that's what you can use. If you don't, then you can adopt it, and that governs procedure.
I do not believe we adopted it, and I'm not saying we should do any particular thing. I don't see it anywhere in there. I looked through it.
I literally just looked at this.
I did see when the league did the work for us when they updated our code. They said, these things are adopted, this and this and this, and then there's a little blurb in that thing that says we'd also, this pamphlet has good information, basically something like that. But I don't see that we adopted it by any code, by reference, by anything. So not saying we need to do that now, but that's something that we need to clarify. We to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we have not.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you have.
Where did
this is 1-211, incorporating the code of procedure for Kansas cities. Is that what that's called? Yep. So yeah, here's
1-211.
1-211. Yeah.
I didn't see it.
It's edition 2006, but I could assume you can use the one that's most recent. You don't change them that often.
It amazes me. My long-term memory remembers this stuff. 2000.
All right. Anyway, that's what I
Yeah,
couldn't find it.
That's right here in the codes, 1-211.
I couldn't find it.
So we
One
do,
thing-
according to our code, follow this handbook for
One thing I noticed in that reading through it is that we are definitely not doing and just make sure that that's how you want to handle it if you're going to go by this. There's public concerns and comments needs to be written, a request. It's in there. That needs to be a written request and given in advance.
Yeah. Well, there's a number of rules that you could add to the public
I mean,
comments.
that's what's in there if that's what you've adopted here.
Well, that's
Probably
all
other things
review.
too, but that's one thing that stood out to me.
Meaning that we require somebody to prior to that.
Well, I think that there's a lot of restrictions that you can place on open comments, time restrictions, but I think if you're thinking of that as, if it's not in there already, then you need to have that in the agenda and you need to establish it as policy. Meaning, because everybody needs to be treated the same.
Exactly. But I'm not saying I have a problem with the way we're doing it now. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's what that says. And that's what you got in your code.
And I think you guys could use with some discipline in that regard. So I'm not gainsaying, I'm just saying, if you do go to the level of saying, well, we're going to start doing some restrictions on public comments, then there's a lot more that could be done to make it more orderly. I'll say that.
Thank you for that clarification, because that was something that was floating out there. Thank you.
Any other council concerns or comments? Okay. We do have an executive session on the agenda. If we want to continue that, I would maybe do the Cora one first to get that knocked out if we can.
Is there another one besides the one?
I think you had some employee.
I need about 20 minutes to discuss the stuff that, in the meeting that you assigned Jason and I to do. That we had the meeting with employees.
Yeah. Do you want to start with 10 minutes and then grow from there? Because I don't want to be trapped for 20 if we're not still discussing.
Well, I mean,
I can tell you right now from the attitudes that's displayed, when I discuss some of this stuff, we're going to need 20 minutes.
well, why don't we do it? Can we do it this way that we do? Do you want to do the Cora thing or kick it?
And this is your motion. I'm asking.
Because I don't
I'm
need to
not
be
telling
here
you.
if you guys are just going to talk employees.
Correct.
so.
Yeah, that's why I said let's just try to do that
But
first.
I'm okay to sit here and let's go over the Cora.
So
thing.
how long do you think that'll take?
Well, you guys, if I got to run it, it's 10 minutes.
Okay, let's do that and then we'll do this one.
Let's start there.
We'll start
Okay.
with this, yeah.
You need to. I need to get you that guy's that check.
We had a cheat sheet and I've lost mine.
Okay.
So somebody needs to make the motion.
Well, how about I tell you what the motion is again, just so we do.
I so moved Todd's motion.
The motion is to go into executive session for personnel matters to discuss disclosure of personnel documents starting at 9:27 for 10 minutes to 9:37 to return to this room with the attorney, counsel, mayor, and anybody else. And Becky present.
And I'm only including Becky because we've included her in every single one of them. About all of
That's
this.
not a reason, but you don't have to have the clerk present if you don't want the clerk.
What's the chance?
I can second that.
Did
I
you
don't
okay
know,
with-
Carrie, what
Carrie?
we're gonna do. I don't know.
You okay with Becky being in there?
For personnel?
Okay, then that's the
This is
motion.
for attorney client.
And I'll
No,
second.
it's those personnel.
What is?
The executive session.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was thinking it was the, I mean, it is technically.
I think it is.
That's the motion.
We're gonna turn our camera off before we start yakking.
Yeah,
Oh.
everybody be quiet.
Well, it doesn't start until another minute, but we haven't voted yet.
Who motioned? That's not the camera.
That's not the camera.
Brett motion.
No.
But thank you.
There you go.
Brett motion, I second,
Oh, all in favor. I'm so sorry.
and Brett voted yes.
It's okay.
Okay.
So
I
we're
apologize.
starting as
I'm
soon as you
failing.
turn off the thing.
Okay, I think that's.
I hit stop on that already, so I probably messed that up.
That's right.
No,
Well-
you were supposed to, that's good. That had to be
Okay.
done too.
Okay.
With the voice recording.
Okay, so
My chair is sinking.
You wanna switch?
No,
Well, this one just,
They're
I
all
feel like I'm in a
all of
lowrider.
a sudden, I just felt like I was lower than I was before. Maybe not.
I'll take the one that's lower. I can slide under the table later.
Yeah.
Disappear.
Hey, they got rid of that chair over there.
okay.
Yeah, that's why that one's there.
Terrible stench.
It's okay. I really don't need to be higher.
I don't want to stand back up because I won't want to sit back down.
Well, I'm afraid of it.
I don't even
Okay.
sit this long at work.
So number one, Visa bills. The only question is that they're
Right,